The pot roast was cold, but no one seemed to care. My mom kept refilling everyone's wine glasses, pretending not to notice how tense things were at the table. My brother Jerry was showing off as usual, waving his fork around like he was putting on a show. "I mean, seriously," he said with a smirk, "who needs a smart collar that tells them if their dog is sad? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard." My name is Linda Wilson. I'm 31. Earlier today, I sold my company, Ponyia, a pet tech startup, to Google for $5 billion. But nobody at this dinner knew that yet. I stayed calm and quietly moved the peas on my plate. "It's not just for mood," I said softly. "The AI can detect health problems before they get serious. It's already helped save thousands of pets." Jerry rolled his eyes dramatically. "Sure it has, because what we really need is more dog owners freaking out about their poodles. How many of those collars have you even sold?" I sipped my water slowly, holding back what I really wanted to say. The deal wasn't public yet, I had to stay quiet, but in the past year alone, we'd sold over 15 million collars, and even more people were on the waiting list. "They're selling," I said simply. Jerry snorted. "Selling? Then why are you still driving that beat-up Honda and living in that tiny apartment? You were a straight-A student, Linda. You could have been someone important, like an investment banker, like me. Instead, you gave up $1 million job to play with gadgets in your garage." That garage was actually a high-tech lab with 50 engineers who had been working with me for 4 years, changing the future of pet care, but Jerry never visited, so to him, it was still just a silly hobby. Our dad cleared his throat, looking uncomfortable. "Jerry, that's enough." "No, Dad," Jerry said sharply, "someone needs to be honest with her. She gave up a real career for a fantasy." I looked at Jerry, calm as ever. "How's the merger going at your bank?" I asked. His face twitched for a second. He'd been bragging about this deal for months. "It's moving along, a few bumps, but we'll figure it out." I didn't say anything more, but I knew the truth. When Google was doing research before the acquisition, I'd seen inside a few banks, including Jerry's. His bank was trying to merge with a failing company, one hiding a lot of debt. It wouldn't stay secret for long. "I'm sure you'll figure it out," I said, finally taking a bite of my now cold food. 4 years ago, I was building circuits by hand and maxing out credit cards to keep my business alive. Now, I was sitting on a $5 billion deal. But my family still saw me as the girl who made a strange life choice. That would all change tomorrow. When I quit my banking job to start Porent, no one was more against it than Jerry. "Banking is a real job," he told me. "This pet gadget stuff, just a hobby, a waste of your degree." What Jerry never understood was that everything I learned in banking helped me build Porent. While he stuck to outdated methods, I used what I knew to build something new, something that mattered. The idea didn't come from a boardroom or a business meeting, it came from something very personal. My cat Mia had started acting strange, not eating much, hiding under the bed. I thought she was just being moody. By the time I took her to the vet, it was too late. The cancer had spread. I kept thinking, what if I'd noticed the signs earlier? That's when it hit me, pets can't talk, but they show how they feel through their behavior. What if we used AI to track those signs and catch health problems early? That moment of loss became the start of Porent. I didn't want other pet owners to go through what I did. My mom's voice brought me back to the dinner table. "Linda, honey," she said gently, "maybe Jerry's right, you're not getting any younger, and that apartment." I smiled, thinking of the beach house I'd just bought in Long Beach, a modern, oceanfront home I paid for in full, with cash. The real estate agent's eyes nearly popped out of her head. But when you're building a billion-dollar company quietly, there's no need to show off. "I like my apartment, Mom," I said. "It's close to work." Jerry laughed. "Work? You mean your little pet thing?" He leaned back. "Come on, Linda, time to grow up. Even new hires at my firm are making more than you." If only he knew. His whole bank was worth less than what Google just paid for Porent. Tomorrow, headlines all over the world would read, "Google buys Porent AI in biggest pet tech deal ever." But tonight, as Jerry bragged about his latest luxury car, he still thought I was the family failure. After dinner, people moved to the living room for coffee. I helped Mom clear the table. My phone buzzed. It was a text from Edward, my lead engineer. "Everything's ready. Google's press release is queued. Sure you don't want to tell them tonight?" I looked at Jerry, still talking loudly like always. I typed back, "Some surprises are worth the wait." As I slipped my phone into my pocket, Dad joined me in the kitchen, drying dishes. "You okay, sweetheart?" Jerry was a bit harsh tonight. I smiled softly. "I'm more than okay, Dad. Tomorrow's going to be a big day." I stood at the sink, thinking back to when I was a kid. Dad always supported my curiosity, buying me science kits, helping me with projects, encouraging me to follow what I loved. He never thought I was weird or wasting time. He believed in me. "You might want to watch the business news tomorrow morning," I told him with a smile. "You might find it interesting." He looked curious but didn't ask questions. Dad always knew when to wait. That night, I drove home in my old Honda. People made fun of it, but I kept it for a reason. It was the last car Mia ever rode in. I wasn't ready to let go of it just yet. As I pulled into my apartment parking spot, I realized, by this time tomorrow, everything would be different. And it wasn't the money that mattered most. That had stopped being the point a long time ago. It was finally time to come out of the shadows and let everyone, including my family, see what I had quietly built over the years. My phone buzzed. A message from my lawyer, Margaret Evans. "Final paperwork is in. Also, Jerry's merger deal just got flagged for review." Perfect timing. I smiled. Tomorrow, Jerry would be sitting in a tough meeting, trying to explain how he missed big problems in the deal he'd been bragging about for months. Meanwhile, my face would be on CNBC, part of the biggest story in pet tech history. It's funny how life works out. The best revenge isn't proving someone wrong. It's proving to yourself that you were always right to believe in your dream. The next morning, I woke up early. I made coffee and looked out from my apartment balcony at the soft glow of Silicon Alley. Everything looked extra beautiful today, maybe because I felt proud. At 7:10 a.m., my phone lit up with alerts. Bloomberg, CNBC, Forbes. The press release had gone out. Google acquires PawPrint AI for $5 billion, largest pet tech deal in history. Journalists were already asking for interviews. I ignored them, for now. There'd be time for that later. At 8 a.m., my face appeared on the news. My name was in bold on the screen. I didn't expect to feel so emotional. My phone buzzed non-stop. First message, from Mom. "Linda, is this real? Call me." Then Dad. "I knew it. So proud of you, sweetheart." Jerry didn't message me. That silence said everything. I headed to the PawPrint office. The energy was amazing. People were crying, laughing, hugging. These were the people who had believed in my vision. Many gave up bigger salaries to join me, hoping one day it would pay off. And it did. Every one of them was now a millionaire. Rael, my assistant, ran up to me. "Your brother's bank is trying to reach you. They want to talk about investment opportunities." I smiled. "Tell them to contact Google's corporate team. We're part of Google now." The irony was hard to miss. 4 years ago, I'd gone to Jerry's bank asking for funding. He laughed at me and told me to come back with a real business. Now that same bank was scrambling to be part of the company they once mocked. But it was too late. As the PawPrint news spread, another headline appeared. Jerry's merger had failed. The company his bank tried to acquire was in worse shape than expected. His bank stock dropped fast. Around lunchtime, Mom came to my office. She hugged me tightly, tears in her eyes. "Why didn't you tell us?" she asked. I smiled gently. "What did you think I was doing all this time, Mom?" She looked down. "We were worried. You worked so hard and lived in that tiny apartment. We just didn't want to see you struggle." I walked her around the office, showing her our labs and the handwritten thank you letters from pet owners. These people were thanking us for saving their pets' lives. "I haven't been struggling, Mom," I said. "I've been doing exactly what I love. I just didn't need to brag about it." My phone buzzed again. Jerry was calling. I let it go to voicemail. Later that day, I had my first official meeting with Google. We talked about growing the company, going global, and my new role leading their pet tech division. I'd have full control and a big budget, everything I had worked for. Another voicemail from Jerry came in. "Linda, we need to talk. The merger's falling apart. Investors are panicking. You're the one everyone's watching now. Maybe you can help me." I thought about all the times he mocked me and laughed at my ideas. That evening, I saw Jerry waiting in my building's lobby. "How'd you get in here?" I asked. Even though I knew, he was still listed as my emergency contact. Please, Linda, he said, standing up. Everything's crashing. Now you're the star. You have to help me. I turned to face him. Help you? Like how you supported me when I needed help, like how you called my work a waste of time. I was wrong, okay, he said sharply. You're the brilliant one. You made it. Happy now? We reached my floor. He looked at me, waiting. For once, he wasn't the confident big brother. He looked lost. I paused. No, Jerry, we're not doing this now, I said. This isn't about who's more successful, it's about respect. You never respected me, or my choices. You thought your way was the only way, but now, you're learning that success can look different, and that's your lesson to learn, not mine to fix. He blinked, surprised. What are you saying? I'm saying good luck with the merger, I replied. Google's pretty good at spotting bad deals, maybe they can help. I closed the door behind me. Alone in my apartment, I looked at my phone. The headlines were everywhere. One stood out: youngest self-made female billionaire. Tech magazines were planning cover stories. Invitations to speak at major events were rolling in. But the message that meant the most came from a woman in Indiana. Your device caught my dog's heart problem 5 months before we noticed anything. The vet said it could have been fatal if we had waited. You saved his life. Thank you. That message meant more than all the headlines. Later, I checked the listing for my new beach house in Long Beach. The movers were coming next week. Maybe, once I was settled, I'd invite the family over for dinner. Maybe then, they'd finally understand what I had been building all along. But for now, I had a company to lead, and more lives to save.